Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Financial Griot, aka TFG. I'm actually jumping on here just to give you guys a quick disclaimer. While recording this episode, it appears as though there's a slight static sound while one of the co-hosts is speaking. Nonetheless, it's still a solid episode and great conversation that I really think you'll benefit from. Without further ado, enjoy.
All right, let's get it. Okay. Thanks again, everybody, for actually joining us back again with the Financial Griot for another episode in which we discuss everything that has to do with being part of a new year. It's been an amazing year that we stuck with us, through all our episodes and all our little trauma, because we kind of left it off in the trauma episode. It made no sense. Like, hey, here's that trauma to end your year. So I guess we left it all in 2021 and we're moving forward in another new year. So every time that you hear this episode, it's probably going to be a brand new episode in which you're going to talk about generally, what do you do in a new year? There is something though I do want to bring up, because I don't think you saw it, but oh man, we were watching the CNN live coverage on the app for oh, you saw it? You saw it? Don Lemon. I did that. What? My dude, what?
Okay, go ahead and talk. Give the people context.
Give the people what? Oh, I'm gonna try to not personally get canceled, just like Dulce, to give her credit, like pure professionalism under the pressure of being a little bit inebriated, but she still had it together enough to say that, whoa, this gone too far, and she tried to pass it over. So basically, CNN, like every other network TV, they do have a holiday special in which they watch the ball drop, so on and so forth. And CNN is one of the largest coverages, and it's been going on for a bit. Typically, it's been aired by Anderson Cooper, alongside with some other people that ended up being canceled themselves, so they're gone. But then you have Andy now. Andy is from Bravo Network. He's very popular. A lot of people love him. So it's Andy and Anderson. It's a cool little thing. They get a little bit, drunk here and there. I saw Anderson blinking a few times. You know when somebody get a little bit loose, you blink a lot, Anderson. And then somebody told him to take off his glasses. He took it off. And then he started looking around. I'm like, bro, are you blind? And then he put it back on again. Let's put it back on. So Anderson is cool with us. He's cool with Haiti. Obviously, he's been in Haiti. He did the entire coverage out there. He had the suspois. He ate the griot. He knows what time it is. He's a cool dude. He's with us. Unfortunately, Don Lemon is not with us. I'm going to call it right now. He is not with me. He's not with Team Haiti. This guy, I guess every year it's a tradition that maybe it's a tradition. I don't know what it is, but he gets really drunk. Like, he cannot handle his liquor. I could tell he's one of those guys. And for whatever reason, he was in Mardi Gras, New Orleans. It was New Orleans, Mardi Gras theme, New Year's celebration. And he's tossing out beads like a drunk person. I'm like, bro, it's one or two beads, man. You ain't tossing. He's when he vaulted some beads at people. I'm like, I know somebody got injured and hurt by Don Lemon just getting wild. And at one point, he asked he has two co-hosts that day. So he has some person who barely ever spoke. And this other young lady, her name is Dulce. At least that's what she goes by. And he turns at one point unnecessarily to ask Dulce a question that makes no sense. Like, hey, Dulce, you were in Atlanta recently, right? I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And she's like, all right. She had that look like, where are you going at with here? He's like, right. Did you not talk to the Negroes?
Oh, it was so cringing.
What? Everybody, it was live TV. Anderson Cooper, they're all listening and they're realizing what's going on and they're confused as heck. When you're drunk, but you're a little bit, you still know the lines, and you're like, did that just happen, or did that just created that in my mind? And then he continues, he doubles down. He's like, hey, did you call them the Negroes or were you with the blacks? And Dulce, in full composure, yet again, I'm talking like give the queen
her flowers.
I don't really say queen stuff. Like, give this royalty, this lady, her crown for doing this, because she said, hey, she smoothed it out, and she also said, I'm not gonna get there in a light joke of I'm not trying to get canceled today. Like, it was a very beautiful way to do that. Well done. And the camera people, I know they panic in the background, And they went back to Anderson and Andy. Andy and them was like, I don't know. And they were looking at each other. I don't know what just happened there. Like they were just drunk. You could
Keep it
tell.
going.
They're like, I don't know what just happened there. They're like, hey, we're just gonna keep it rolling. It was the weirdest thing I ever seen.
That was funny. I seen a clip of it. I typically don't watch the New Year's Eve extravaganza with these different news publications or shows, whatnot. But I seen that clip maybe on the Shade Room or someone shared it with me. And another context too, because you mentioned that. So Don Lehman was in New Orleans and Anderson Cooper and his co-host was in New York, if I'm not mistaken, right? So there's a split image. So they go back and forth on the different locations, and you can see simultaneously how dang, what's his name from Bravo? The co-host. Yeah,
Andy.
Andy. You can see how Andy was looking so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, like we don't know. We don't know. It could have went dark. It could have went really bad. Like this is what I mean. Duce did something like she looked, she smoothed it out, and she kind of like let's pan away because this guy went off the deep end. That conversation would have went weird. It could have went worse than it ever. It was just unnecessary. Everybody looked confused. Andy was like he whispered to Anthony Cooper afterwards, like because he was very confused about what's going on.
Yeah, it was weird. I wasn't sure what was going on. And I'm just like, Don, I think you've been drinking a little too much, sir. I know you're excited about the new year, but calm it down. There was another clip I seen where he was twerking. He was dancing with the band or something. I'm just like, this is slightly too
Yeah,
much
it's this is
for
everything.
live
This is
TV.
yeah, and I don't know if it was like a tradition or something that he always gets sloshed, but it's pretty unprofessional, and it kind of brings us full circle to this conversation about. So, at least in my opinion, I think I want to list the top five. I don't care if it's an actual list. Like I'm gonna say the top couple things I do not want to carry into a new year.
Right. It's it was a little too much. I'm just like, I hope it ends there, and I just hope it doesn't like escalate even further. I'm just like, okay, this is too much. But yeah, I was just going on and hearing like and seeing different people just celebrations. But to me, I'm not sure what you were seeing on your end, but to me, I see a lot of people that in my social network were just chilling at home. A lot of people kind of dressed up and just went straight to the living room and take some cute pictures. One girl got really creative, like did this whole chef board thing with cheese and everything. We were gonna do that this year, but we decided not to. But yeah, people just chilling at home. I didn't see a lot of people out. I seen a few people at different events, but Omarion is real, the variant. So we just
I was like, oh, Marion. Like, well, we bringing
we
that
call
guy
it
up.
Omarion. The
Like,
Omicron, guys. Omicron. I'm just joking. The Omicron variant is real, and who wants to come into the new year being sick, right? So
that is a good point. That
just
is a good
avoid.
point. I'll say this: the thing is that I don't want people to bring into any new year, which is first and foremost, like the whole overdoing everybody. This always constant need to overdo the last person. Like now, there's a point where the Christmas trees are not just normal Christmas trees anymore. There's a time you could have bought that sucker, put some garland around it, put a little lights around it, and you put a star on the top. You good. That is it. Now we have Christmas trees. These are not even normal. There's some like designer Christmas trees out here. Trees with no, the pine cone is not enough anymore. They got the leaves. It's extravagant, and I think is that's part of the toxic environment that we live in today, in which everybody's trying to always do one up for the show. It's performative. It's not endearing to me anymore. It's kind of like it's staged. Even like the photos of the family. I'm like, yeah, some of the photos is cool to have photos with your family. That's dope to take those photos, but there's a lot of staging now. There's a lot of, hey man, I'm pretty sure somebody started planning that sucker as of January of this year. To the next, it's like, hey, I got to get these outfits on. We got to look like a power crew. We got to look like this thing. It's just too much. And I always kind of wonder, like, where's that line and where's the fun? Where's the true novelty? Are you really doing it for the kids? If you're forcing them into like what an outfit, this, are you really doing it for the family? Or are you doing it for the likes? So I hope, as we go into whatever future that we go into, that everybody just drops that and just become a better version of themselves for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely agree to that. And some things I do enjoy watching when people are, um, expressing their creativity when it comes to the Christmas trees. Because I do see some TikTokers who are will show you how to go to Dollar Tree and get like a small Christmas tree and how to like dress it up with maybe I think he spent maybe like $80 or $40 or something. I'm not sure, but he does a really good job of how you can just do more with less, and I just love that concept and idea. But yeah, I do see the facade of everyone just wanting to look at each other and comparing how to be better, how to look good, and I'm more of a minimalist. And the tree, my first tree that I purchased was when I got my home, and let me tell you, this tree is going to be here forever. As long as I'm here, this tree is here because decorations are expensive, number one, and number two, I just like the minimalist, look of it, clean, and decorations here and there. But it does, sometimes it does get to you like, oh, maybe I'm not doing enough. But we kind of forget about the whole idea when it comes to being around family, having gratitude that in the midst of the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, it's been total carnage. And I'm just happy and
They
grateful.
call it carnage out
It
here.
has been,
Chaos.
and I'm just happy I have my health. I'm employed. My family have their health. My mom has her health. Still working out here, and we're fine for the most part. Very balanced people, centered people, and that's what I'm really grateful for. So anything like when it comes to all the glam and the decor, whatever, don't really does anything for me in terms of the core value of who I am, right? But I'm
Yeah.
happy everyone had a good time.
That
2020.
that is true. That's the first and foremost. If you're having a good time doing you, do you. I think I don't want this to come across like I'm trying to control somebody's like creativity, their style, and so on and so forth. What I will say for myself, for my own inner peace, kind of what you alluded to. Like I unfollow some people, like because it's not for me.
Lawrence,
It's
who
not.
you don't who you
It's
don't unfollow?
no.
I feel like every conversation you
No, like,
unfollow
but some people I'm
somebody.
like, I get it, it's like, but it's not me, it's not my style. Like you said, like if I'm more minimalist and it just makes me feel uncomfortable, that everything I see is almost like your entire life documented these reels, these things. I'm like, I can't. I personally can't do it. It's exhausting. Like I think that's what it is. I don't want to be exhausted anymore. I want to be invigorated. I want to be energized. And I do go to different places and I see some trees. And I'm like, these are amazing as heck. Like you said, like the amount of creativity that people have, it's always been the enduring nature of human life and human quality. It's just part of your soul and how you exhibit it. But there is a line. And for some people, and everybody knows that person that's a little too extra in the crew, like that does it too much, and that's the person I think they kind of need less attention. Like, and I think it'll slow them down a little bit. It'll kind of like give them some perspective. But the more we feed this beast, the more you create. Like we had an episode, not too long ago where that one girl ended up, taking photos at her dad's funeral,
Yeah.
like straight up open casket in the background, like, "Hey, dad, what's up?" Like it's too much. So what's next? What you got next? What do you have? Like something that you wish that we don't bring into the new year, or maybe something that you think that we should do more of, and so on and so forth.
That we don't bring into the new year. Um,
Or you could do
okay,
more of, like something that
more.
you've been doing. You've been working out all the time. Like you have a
Yeah, I've been
whole different habit.
consistent. Yeah. Like that's really my thing now. I think that we sort of just wait until the end of the year and start thinking about what we're going to do next year, or have these goals, for the new year, new me, refresh, whatever. But I think when you kind of break it down into quarters, like how you are, like checking in with yourself in between the year, I think that really helps. For me, that really helps because when it comes to taxes, of course, I'm a homeowner now, taxes, right now I'm in the evaluation with my home insurance, so that's a beast in itself. And I did I re-registered to do a fitness program. So I was doing this up until October, November. I was already re-evaluating how I'm going to continue my journey, or how I'm going to continue my systems that I've been doing throughout the year. Right? I think you shouldn't just wait. It's always about checking in with yourself. What works, what doesn't work, right? And for me too, it's just that reevaluating yourself, not just end of the year, it's just throughout the year. How are you feeling? Is this goal working for you? Is this is this something that you feel like is efficient or a system or process, and we don't do enough of that. I think we do a lot of pushing things out there that perceive like we're doing a lot. I think we mentioned that before, right? In previous just conversations in general about we do a lot of things that is not anything at all. Like we're just busy doing nothing. Right? It just appears that it's a lot going on, but internally it's not. And just really check in with yourself. Don't just look into external values. I'm really reflecting on internal things that I can work on throughout the year and not just doing all these things because it's a lot. You can overwhelm yourself all these things at the end of the year to see how can I get better, starting over the following year. Nah, just check in with yourself. So don't just do it all at once at the end of the year. Do it throughout the year. That's what I hope, I wish people would just do it more and more and just,
Yeah.
you know,
I think it's something to be said about not confusing. I think that's the quote I heard. Do not confuse activity with movement. And by that, they meant that, hey, a rocking chair could rock back and forth 100 times, but it's not going anywhere. So the idea that we're all kind of like, there's some people that have full calendars doing all types of things, but in truth, your life momentum is not going where you want it to go. That's why everybody, it's almost like you're restarting all over again every time, every year, every year. But in truth, because you're not making any actual progress in regards to whatever you're working on. Either it be, a book I'm supposed to be written like 5 years ago, or anything.
did you turn in that draft?
Hey, but no, I did not turn it. Hey, that's neither here nor there. This is
I
a
wish
whole other
Lovey was here.
episode.
Okay, my
That's a
bad.
whole other episode. It's a whole other episode. We talk about things like, hey, let me heal. All
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead, Lovey.
So, and you're 100% right about it. About setting up these processes, these metrics. Sometimes too much. I think going into these other years, whatever time that you're going into, I don't want people to keep doing the prosperity gospel. It's like, oh, I'm gonna claim it. I'm a that. No, you ain't, just do it. Just do it. Just go physically do it. And that's what's so impressive about your movement with your health. Every time that you get back on it, you just went do it. You just start doing it in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock. You're posting. You keep it consistent. You just actively engage in it. You're not just wishing it to be true. You're literally taking steps to make it happen. I think that's what people need to take into every year. Instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this," just do it. Don't just say you're gonna do it. Do it. So
Nike, man, just do it. They're the number one brand out there for a reason.
out here making money, making money. Something else that I think people could really benefit from is the idea, and I heard this from somebody's story, some real lived-in story, where she said, "Hey, I was gaining weight, I was losing control of myself, and at one point, is on up until the time that my doctor said that if I don't do anything, I might die in 3 months or so." And for some reason, until that point of failure, she started pivoting her life, and she even said, like, at this point, she lost 100 pounds, and her life is, changing. And all this time that she could have been doing something, it's just something that you tell yourself that it's not possible, it's not important. But anybody, in the Marine Corps, we have this saying: at gunpoint, everybody's willing to do anything. Like anything that you thought was impossible, at gunpoint, you'll get there. You'll figure it out. If push came to shove and you were pushing yourself to the real brink, your brain will solve these problems for you. Like your activity will solve this problem for you. Your progress, your momentum, your confidence levels will increase. Everything about your life will change if you completely commit. And that's part of the identity that we need to also foster. That we're different from what we were, and that we're not failures, and that we're not, yeah, you could, if you sit in front of Netflix all the time, your identity is just basically you watch TV. That's your identity. Like that's literally what it is. Like I know exactly where you're gonna be. I know exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna reach for some snacks, whatever it is, and then you're gonna watch more and more TV. You're a TV watcher. Like that's not a skill set. It's very interesting, but it's not a skill set or anything. So ultimately, you want to change your identity to be somebody that's more active, more engaged, more intentional. Some people they start biking and they become bikers. They cycle all the time. Some people, hey, they start going to the gym, but they're athletes. They're people they just define themselves differently in their heads, and once that happens, I think people are gonna really move, and they're not gonna confuse activity with progress.
Absolutely, I do agree on that.
Well, I felt like a Toastmaster out here. You see, I went full circle, full circle. You're not impressed? I was impressed by myself. That's cool.
I'm always impressed. I'm always
No,
impressed.
it's good stuff. Good stuff. Um, Another thing, I don't, we're not gonna run too long this episode. I ended up actually doing the checklist and I shared it with you guys, right? My
Yeah, which
checklist
was great.
goals,
Yeah, I seen it.
the financial checklist. I definitely need to post them because I don't have like a thumbtack around here. I need to get that to I just stick it on the wall because it's important to just draft out some ideas, some plans, some goals, put it on paper, stick it to where you can see it. Do a vision board if you have to. Do a vision board, virtual vision board party. I don't want you to have to get COVID, that kind of stuff. Get a full outbreak.
They have a really cool Canva thing you can
Yeah,
do with the
yeah.
vision
I
board.
haven't
Yeah.
done it. I'm definitely gonna get on that as well. So
Mhm.
it's all these little things to really set the tone in your life and to kind of help you sort out what works and what doesn't work. I think that's the whole point of that process. The idea that you're gonna put it down on paper, you're gonna look at it, you're gonna see where it fits in, you're gonna see where it's too much. And then you can also share this with your significant other. Me and my wife, we had the entire conversation about the pluses in the prior year and what we look forward to in the next year. You out there writing notes, you taking notes out here? It's okay. It's okay.
No, I was writing what because I have TFG goals slash systems, and I was telling you I don't really have goals. I have systems that I have implemented the prior year, and I'm trying to see how can I continue it. So as you know, I think it was like mid year I really started getting back into the gym, and I lost some weight. Well, not really weight, probably like 10 pounds, but I got more toner, right? But this year, I just want to get a little bit more cut. So before the end of the year, I got back with the trainer who helped me kind of boost into that. And we've been chatting back and forth about, more of the nutrition route, trying to get more of the core good because I realized that certain food don't sit well with me anymore for some reason. So we're identifying those things, and I also
It's
made a
called Lodge. It's called Lodge. Like you
yeah,
getting it's age. Age changes everything. You can't just
it don't it
stick
don't sit.
that waffle in the face anymore. You're like, damn, bro.
It
Like
doesn't
the
sit
sugar, the
with me.
carbs is
Yeah,
not doing
man.
well.
It's the last few days I realized things don't sit with my stomach. So that's the fitness goal. I'm doing a 5 week challenge with him. And I also identified that I haven't done it in a while, and it's pretty sad for me to say as a woman, but I really do love pampering myself. The self love we talked about on previous episode, just in general with you guys, and I'm just like, I love spa day with my best friend. That felt good. So I want to go into the year with the system to say that okay, every I'll say 4 to 6 weeks get a facial because I'm really trying to work on my skin regimen, kind of get that packed down. Because by 40, I really don't want to keep wearing makeup and foundation. I want to have that skin that glows and have a skin regimen that really works for my skin and my body, really natural. So just facials, and just putting that love and that attention into myself. Um, then also thought about how can I move forward in paying down my student loans. Hopefully, I'm praying Mr. Joseph Biden will really
Hit him with the Joseph though,
Joseph
like
empty promises. But I really hope they give us a little bit longer, no interest, but we'll see how that works. But I'm just trying to see how can I create a plan to just pay down my student loans because I want to get not the graduate, well, yeah, the graduate loan because that's more interest rate. But I want to get the undergraduate loans out the way because it's like 4,000, like two separate loans, like $4,000. I'm like, yo, if I could pay like 10 grand a credit card, I could pay like these two separate loans, right? So I'm trying to create a plan of how can I kind of tackle that, get those out the way, and just focus on the bigger loan, like the 20,000, the $8,000 loan in the near future. But just working out that one, and yeah, just systems in place, and of course, me and Lovely spoke before the new year about just progressing with YouTube. I'm gonna have 200 subscribers. So I'm really happy about that. I know you guys see my texts and I always pushing you guys to subscribe. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, just getting that in the forefront and how I will go about rearranging of what I want to talk about and the content I want to put out there. Because overall, I feel like in general, I'm an eclectic person. And I love comedy, and I love food, and I love working out, and I love just discussions and talking about things. So we'll see how that will like push through. So it's not really goals per se, just systems, man, because this is something I'm going to do anyways. So I just want to get that system more intact and more efficient to kind of like push forward and get better. So it could be automatic for me. So that's really it. That's what I'm writing down. I'm just like, because I had this written down before, but as we're talking, I'm putting more and more things that's coming to my mind. So just really just systems that I'm going to have in place in my processes.
Yeah, I was, I guess I'm getting to we're getting better at this whole podcasting thing. So we love that you guys have been with us for the fact that we started off in October. I think I always think it's October, but I think
I think it
Lovely
was
also said September.
September.
Yeah,
No, we launch in October. We start the we're
recording in
actually
September.
recording September. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. Because I always think it's October. So and for that being said, we've had over I think it's 16 or 1750 downloads so far. Like we've been really getting a lot of different people coming in, loving our content, as well as we've been featured on All Star Money, which is a financial literacy information. They classify us as general finance, because we really talk about money stories, things to change your life as far as budgeting, money management, investing, buying a home, retirement planning, wills, estates. We talk about just about everything. And in the upcoming episodes, we're gonna even delve a little bit more into even like what's the one that we talked about recently? Bringing other experts to come in to talk about child birthing and
Yeah,
maybe the costs
childbirth. Yeah.
associated with that as well. So the idea is that wealth is just this dollar sign is not really, it's not the truth. Wealth is everything from your health, your fitness, your mental health, your mental capacity, your spiritual. I guess if you're grounded or not, grounded, all of that comes into play and really kind of mesh well within the idea of our health. One of those things that you talked about is that spa day, and I saw two things. I had to pay attention to you when you said it. It's like it wasn't really the spa day that lit you up as much more that it was the, hey, I love to do spa day with my friend, my best friend. And I think that's something to be said about how we associate one thing, but its truth is the idea that if you are doing it by yourself, I don't think it'd be the same. I don't think it'd be the same level of excitement. Doing it with somebody else, enjoying that moment, enjoying your time, cracking up, laugh, having jokes, even helping her detox, helping you detox, and kind of recenter. That's always very important. And there's also another thing you mentioned as well is intentionally about being selfish. I think some parts selfishness always sounds kind of negative, but in truth, you have to turn inwardly to actually do the self repair, the self work, and doing that actually matters, and it's actually going to go for you a long way as well. On top of that, I think you also mentioned something that everybody could take away from this is getting the professional help, the professional assistance. We could DIY ourselves into anything, right? You could definitely hit the gym. You could definitely download whatever online, so on and so forth. But sometimes when you get that coach, you get the extra cuts, you get the extra accountability, you get the extra focus, the ideas or spurring in. And part of the human condition is like we're not meant to just be by ourselves, and having other people there as well can bring that excitement, that energy, and it could force you right back into the gym. So that's part of the process. And in that vein as well, hey, we provide services all the time. We teach people financial literacy education. That's what we do because I personally believe that we could get people down into the range of being millionaires in their lifetime. That means in 20 years or less. In our specific lifetime, if you're a 9-to-5 worker, you have problems budgeting, you can hit us up. You can ask us questions. You can email us. We have an email, the Financial Griot at gmail.com. We're on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? We're on YouTube. You could find us, right? You send us messages, we will respond. With that being said, we also did like a free investment workshop. Straight up, it was free. It was Zoom. Why? Because hey, you need to know about it because you're not following us. That's on you. It was like a good, I think it was 3 to 4 hours
3 hours.
of just
Yeah.
pure we taught everything. We want people to be rich. Like it's not something that is impossible to do, but you need to have that information. And because of that, I will give you guys this. If you get us to 200 likes, on Apple, or how does it? Apple Music, Apple Podcast reviews.
Apple
You get us to
Podcast.
you hit it. You get us to 200. I will do another investment workshop. I'll do another budgeting. Man, I will work for. I'll dance out here in these streets. OnlyFans. I'll do what I got.
For
Well,
free.
not OnlyFans. Not OnlyFans, but you know what I mean. Financial OnlyFans, being like we do the workshop. We do what we need to do. Because in truth, all of this is reciprocal. If you feed into us, we feed back into you. And that's just the way we're gonna work and do this thing. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from you, and we hope and we continue to believe that you're gonna feel the same way. Share it with your friends, your family, and yeah, like we said this year, do not move in silence. Do not keep your secrets to yourself, because that's not how it's gonna multiply it, in my opinion. And just like Alana just said, get yourself that mentoring if you need it. Get yourself a coach. Get yourself a therapist. Even though I don't pay for therapists because I think it's expensive, but still, like, get
You
yourself a
work for the
therapist.
government, sir.
Hey,
You got the
hey,
great benefits.
hey,
You
yeah,
can get it
I
if
like
you
to keep
want.
my money, my cob. And ultimately, all of this is pretty much us asking you to feed back into us. I think Lovely would be proud of that. A little bit proud. She's like, you know what? Yeah, I actually said something this time.
Yeah, she'll be proud of us saying that. That's a good circle back.
So, hey, how you gonna land this plane here? Land this plane or whatever that is. We're gonna short down this episode. We ain't gonna go too long.
No, you said
Do
everything. I think
you
that
wanna
was a
do you
great
wanna like
recap.
flat? You wanna give them a flash of what we talked about, or what you think they should definitely take from you right now to have a next 12 months of awesomeness?
I think what you should take back from this episode, from both of us, is in general, just check in with yourself throughout the year. Your goals or systems, like we discussed on the episode, is really about just finding out what efficient way works for you. Like personal finance is personal, right? So my system, my process, how I go out to the gym, or how I kind of, do things on a daily basis may not work for you due to your life and your lifestyle, but kind of arrange and find a balance to get you to where you want to be and the person you want to be. That's what we all just striving for. You're feeding into us constant downloads, the reviews. I see them. I see them. The reviews, the great feedback, and the everything that you guys are doing, feeding into us. We just really want to feed into you to understand that take it one day at a time and to find the balance of where you need to be and the person that you're trying to be. And the DMs, the DMs for the reviews. I love them, guys. You guys are reaching out to me. I guess I have been subconsciously been placed as TFG PR person
No,
or
no,
just
no. These people
point of
actually care about you.
contact.
They don't care about me. They're like, no. There's like a few people that hit me up.
I
There's a
think I
very
have a when it
yeah,
comes
there's like
to
three people that hit me up and say it's good. I'm not gonna say that's completely zero. So, but I think you get a lot of people that are like, you know what? She's the person. She's the people's champ here. Like,
yeah, so you guys DM me when we have these different subjects, especially the last episode, no, the one before last about the spanking. We were discussing about discipline methods, and you
that's
guys
exactly
said
how we close out the year, dog. Like holiday spanking. You're like, hey, you kids will be cutting up. They're about to get cut up. Hey, you do what you need to do.
but just every other episode you guys hit us about the high value men, and like in Lawrence does a great job. Lawrence and Doreen does a great job in choosing titles that really get to you guys, because I know I can tell someone who hasn't listened to the podcast and just read the actual episode title and get triggered, right? But I appreciate you guys DM me about and what you think of your reviews, but please, just go ahead and just leave that review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or whatever that you are listening to our podcast. Like, take that same energy, but we really appreciate the reviews and the constructive criticism. That's what we're here for. We're trying to get better and progress every day, every time we're on the podcast, and you're helping us, we're helping you. There's a collective circle, a community, and we're just trying to build and get together. But I'm going to close this out. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode on the Financial Griot. My name is Alainta Elson. You can find me on the YouTube streets. Just searching my name, Alainta, Alainta. Last name is Alcin, and I'm also on IG. So Instagram, you can find me on the Alainta once again. And also, if you want to get on Facebook, we're on Facebook as well. We're on Twitter. I'm just finding out we're on Twitter. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. So the cool thing on Facebook is a feature you can actually listen to our podcast. So if you don't have the actual platform of the streaming, just you can listen to us on Facebook as well, which is pretty cool. Lawrence, where can it find you?
Well, thanks again for, I guess, wrapping us up so neatly and tightly out here. So you can find me pretty much on everywhere, as the Neighborhood Finance Guy. So as always, you can find it the website, the Neighborhood Finance Guy as well, where we repost this information as well as episode show notes, and we're also being featured, pretty much extensively because of your feedback and the topics that we're bringing up as well. So thanks again, guys. You can find me as well on IG at the same name, the Neighborhood Finance Guy. Crazy enough, the entire way through without no spaces. And you can definitely find us. And ultimately, the goal is to help you build wealth in a safe, healthy space. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Griot podcast, powered by the Wealth Builders Collective.